Dear scientist, title of our article, Main Factors Affecting the Settlement of Eastern Anatolia from the Beginning to End of the Bronze Age. I am describing our article right now. Archaeological remains from the Paleolithic Age discovered during the studies contacting Tunceli, Erzurum, and Malatya in Eastern Anatolia reveal that the region has been hub and attention for communication since antique times. The primary justification for such a deep-rooted history in this region can be attributed to plenitude of caves and shelters and the rocks, rich forest, flora, and the availability of animals for hunting. Recent studies make it clear that Eastern Anatolia was one of the leading regions where the Paleolithic Age people inhabited. Archaeological evidence revealed that these people lived near waters, edge, or around the water surges in area dominating the region. They could hunt animals. Unfortunately, the evidence for the existence of these people who lived in groups becomes few when it comes to Neolithic peoples. The best example of this Jafaric and academic Neolithic settlement, but unfortunately there are no sufficient pieces of evidence to understand the first establishment model of humans. Except for Jafaric, the earliest data available for the centers such as Nurşintepe, Tulintepe, Tepecik, Kocatepe, Habsu, Şemsiyetepe, Pulur, Aslantepe, Değirmentepe in Eastern Anatolia extend the late Neolithic age. Actually, this is misleading because we can easily say that the mountains, other names Höyük, were inhabited before the late Neolithic period, but they remained below the plain level. This time period also points to earliest regional relationship network of region. With the next process from the late Neolithic to Middle Chalcolithic age, contact was started with cultural atmosphere, Syrian Mesopotamia, which deeply affected dynamics of region the coming years. Our knowledge the Neolithic period comes only from the Upper Euphrates Malatya region, probably due to incomplete research and excavation. We can contact that if the excavation created in the Upper Euphrates section did not exist. Our knowledge of the Neolithic process is the region would not be different from other sections. Moreover, the Halaf culture, which was reached the Tilkitepe from the early excavation carried out in the geography of one, plays a key role in this respect. In the Chalcolithic age, the affect a new cultural elements that would lead to changes in the Eastern Anatolia region because the show itself. These innovations spread to Upper Euphrates part, which start to interact with regions as the last quarter of the 4th millennium BC. Because the region had been under the influence of interactional migrations since the Chalcolithic age, when people begin to use metal extensively. It started to become area of the commercial, cultural, and social interaction. In this age, the relations developed communication in the Upper Euphrates Malatya section with Transcaucasia, Syria, and Mesopotamia, and even Central Anatolia continued in every period, which is confirmed by archaeological data such as archaeological remains, pottery artifacts, stone, bone, and metal items. It is not possible to talk about the similar situation for the Erzurum section because of a handful of excavations satisfactory findings to illuminate this process could not be obtained. The biggest reason for the lack of scientific excavation. Because until recently, due to the climatic condition, they think that settled life and agricultural production in the Erzurum and the surroundings maybe have started the late Chalcolithic age, what refuted with findings from Floric and Alavi. When we look at the region in general, it's possible to say the dimension of the communication network broadened and become more evident throughout this period, even if we have little information. We understand from the settlements in the Euphrates Malatya region, the Muş Plain settlement, and the one, for example, Tilkitepe settlement, that these settlers throughout Eastern Anatolia were in the contact with Syria, Mesopotamia, cultures during these times. Archaeological materials obtained from the mills or names, especially in the Euphrates section, confirm that interaction expanded. With late Chalcolithic age, colonization movements intersect and community movements become more organized. According to results taken from the mills in Upper Euphrates Malatya section, along with Mesopotamia Syrian cultural influence. As significant cultural communication were shared the Caucasus and Central Anatolia. When the archaeological findings Erzurum, Kars, and Murat I geography were added, the dimension of the communication range expanded in northwest Iran, South Caucasian, including Nakhchivan. In this process, the fact that the earliest example Croix-Steve ceramics were found especially in the Upper Euphrates Malatya centers made it necessary to pinpoint that the origin should be southeast geography. When it became the transition from late Chalcolithic to early Bronze Age throughout Eastern Anatolia, the extenses of culture with a common monumental and powerful agriculture emerged. These structures in Eastern Anatolia, which bear the trace of the mentioned culture, were complete with architecture of Markopi period in Georgia. The incised scripted jars recovered during the excavation were compared to wares found Markopi ones. The earliest Transcaucasian example of this ware are dated to late Chalcolithic, but it should be kept in mind that earlier ones found in Eastern Anatolia. Apart from this, dark-faced pottery shades from Eastern Anatolia are definite Sioni pottery in Georgia. Similar tips wares with hole in the base found a blowing stew and sauce tree, which are also located in Erzurum, were found Karmir for an early Samtover burials and Kolkit regions and Bedestini, Jafarhat Eastern tombs in the Caucasian. When all these data bring together, it's essentially to achieve earlier data results. Although there are very few excavations and studies in Eastern Anatolia compared to Caucasus. The early Bronze Age is a period which many novelties began to see near Eastern Anatolia. During this period, there was significant increase in number of settlement and population. At this time, it suggests that animal husbandry overtook agriculture in the region. Furthermore, there were crucial migration, especially throughout the Caucasian in this age. It's stated that with this migration, a different house take and especially with alternate Stowe, the Northwest Black Sea Quartzes culture and Transcaucasian Early Bronze Age culture were brought to Anatolia. Thus, Kültepe 1, which is located with the borders of Nahçıvan, are giving an example around dative architecture. However, this architecture of Sakyol, which is located in the Upper Euphrates section, draws a different picture. We see that this settlement formed a model of the Karaxes peoples with large eccentric courtyard adjacent to each other with radial system. Architectural designs that partially fit this model were implemented along the Euphrates in Titriş, Kurban, and Lidermans. It is emphasized that the Oriental influence was evident. The internal dynamics of centers were Nahçıvan tips handles and Karaxes portraits with Transcaucasian influence were found. However, the fact that some examples of these data were determined in earliest PS settlements from a handful excavation centers in Eastern Anatolia is still the big question. This evidence showed that the Karaxes findings, which we know have exceeded the first middle millennium BC settlements in Eastern Anatolia, begin to appear in the Transcaucasian settlements in the following periods. It is understanding that there are regional differences beginning to 2 million BC and the end of the 3rd million BC. The painted ceramic culture identified in the center in Upper Euphrates Malta section again reflects the communication with certain region. In addition, the fortification system we see centers such as Köşkebaba and İmamoğlu provides valuable insight in the political structure in the region. Although the dominant local culture survived, it maintained its cultural ties with the close vicinities of Urmia and Transcaucasia. For now, it is not possible to talk about centers with defense system and center agricultural structure in the centers in Erzurum, Kars, and Upper Murat I section as in Upper Euphrates Malatya. By the turn of the millennium 2 BC, it's understood that there were short divisions between the culture of peoples living the parts of Eastern Anatolia. At the Middle Bronze Age layers Şemsiyetepe, Pirot, İmamoğlu, and Aslantepe, in the Upper Euphrates Malatya section, locally painted wares were found apart from the Central Anatolia influences. Local Hittite wares. However, a new monochrome Middle Bronze Age fragments were found Sos and Büyüktepe in Erzurum, Kars section. And the 2 medium BC layers of 1 Karagündüz are similar those in Haftavantepe, early 6 B layer near Umut. The archaeological order of the months of geography Eastern Anatolia, the province of Malatya and Elazığ, located in western coast of Eastern Anatolia. This region has been one of the dwelling places due to the availability of brighter surges, rich vegetation, and habitat animals for hunting. The region also has been spatial position that provides link between Mesopotamia and Anatolia. Thus, we see traces of early settled life in Eastern Anatolia in this location with academic Neolithic age. The following periods, a wide-ranging market in the south was discovered throughout trade colonies in which certain materials such as lead, silver, arsenic, copper, and various processed and unprocessed metal artifacts from copper were exchanged. Then some silver and copper researches of this region must have been known and used by local miners. Another main commercial material of this region is obsidian, especially this Bengal region where Marathimans is located is significant in this respect. It was determined that the obsidian researchers of this area and distributed especially in Mesopotamia. The results obtained in this study provide significant clues in terms of settlement, archaeological ornaments in Anatolia. When we look at the dispersion of the settlements on the plain Anatolia, it's clear that there were satellite settlements connect to large centers such as Noşintepe. And others, Mönt, Kövenk, Noşintepe, Tülüntepe, Tepecik, Karastepe, which were arranged approximately 5-meter intervals. These mounds form similar scalable settlements generally do not exceed 2 meters height. The main reason why the mounds here are overly populated on the valley slopes or hilly places in the plain is due to geographical reason. But the motive of controlling the region should also be taken as basis. The plain area was mostly used for agriculture and animal husbandry. Although agriculture was main source of sustenance, animal husbandry and trade must have been essentially source of livelihood as it is today. As a result, when we look at position of mountains of Eastern Anatolia region, they are generally located in position dominating fertile lands close to water sources or by lakes. When considering in terms of production, those in Keban, Karakaya area, and Van Basin are the in open areas, while those Erzurum Kars section lean towards the mountain slopes. While deciding on the selection of location, we see that many factors such as dominate over the environment, wind direction, and exposure were instrumental besides sheltering. Consequently, the settlers preferred watersides, slopes, high places, or plains for settlement based on social-political structure of their region. In this way, the settlers forward the same settlement repeatedly. Even today, they belong to different periods and different cultures. Thank you very much.